welcome to Unit 5 test review. Alright, this is the second one. So this will be your second one that you're looking at. Okay, it's going to have a 2 up here for you, okay? Alright, so working through these questions, very, very easy questions, starting with number 1. It just wants you to identify linear, exponential, or quadratic, or neither. So in this one, we look at the problem. We've got 14, 10, 6, 2, -2, -6, -10. So here we are decreasing by 4. 4 minus 10, or 14 minus 4 is 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. 6 minus 4 is 2. 2 minus 4 is -2. -2 minus 4 is -6. -6 minus 4 is -10. So if that's subtracting 4 each time, then we know that is linear. For number 2, you can see here that we're taking and multiplying by 2 each time. So you can see we're multiplying. So 1/2 times 2 is going to be 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. And 16 times 2 is 32. So this one is multiplying, therefore it's exponential. By the way, in the last video, I accidentally misspelled exponential. I left out the end on one of them. So that way you don't have to send me a bunch of messages saying, Coach Fritz, you messed this one up. I promise I saw my error. Just go back and make that small fix. All right. Anyway, continuing. Let's go to the next problem. So on the next one, you can see here that we have -3s on both sides. So that's a telltale sign that it's going to be quadratic. Remember, you can check this, though, if you want to do the second difference. You can check it just like we did earlier. So in this one, 12, 2, we'll just look at each difference here, see which one it's going to. So 21 and 12, that's going to be -9. All right, 12 to 5 is going to be -7. 5 to 0 is going to be -5. 0 to -3 is going to be -3. -3 to -4 is going to be -1. And then -4 to -3, that's going to be +1. All right, so when you look at the second difference, you'll notice that all of these have in common that they are subtracting. Oh, I take that back. Adding 2. So they're adding 2 to each one. So since all of them are adding 2, that does mean that it's quadratic. Woo. All right. After that one, we go on to number 4. All right. So in number 4, it said find the average rate of change over the interval 0 to 3. So that means we're using the x values of 0 and 3 here. So with 0 and 3, we look at 0. We look at 3. We know the difference from 0 to 3 is going to be adding 3. We know the difference from 0 to 18 is going to be adding 18. So y's over x's, that's going to be 18 over 3. So that's going to give us 18 divided by 3, which is 6. Very easy problem there. Over on the other side, we got a linear problem. Notice how the slope is 1. Therefore, the average rate of change, since it's constant, is 1. Don't even have to substitute anything in. All right, next for number 5, it says, what is the x values for when g of x is greater than f of x? So it looks like g of x is going to be this line. So right now we're under. Boom, right there, we're going to change from under to over at 6. So it's going to start at 6. And then it looks like after that, it's going to keep going up. And it's going to be higher from then on to infinity. So that's going to give us our answer. It's going to be greater from 6 to infinity. All right, number 6, you could write anything in here. The key with number 6 is knowing that you need to see the words per, every, or each. Those are going to be key identifiers telling you that something is constant, or in other words, linear. Okay, because constant rate of change is the same thing as linear or slope. It has to have a constant rate of change. So look for the linear examples there. Per, every, or each. In number 7, we're working out a problem. It gives us 2 scenarios, plan A and plan B. So it says plan A increases the balance by $250 each year. It does say we start out with $600. All right, so to write an equation for this, that would be y equals 600 plus the $250 a year would be 250x. And then for our next equation, remember that formula we talked about in the last video, a parentheses 1 plus or minus r to the x power? We're going to use that again because we're dealing with percentages. So here we know that A is going to be where we start, which is $600. And then that's times 1 plus R is going to be 12%, which is going to be 0.12. And then we raise that to the x power to get our answer. So what we want to do is we want to substitute in this case it says, which plan is better? I can go ahead and tell you that the best plan here is going to be this one, plan B. And the reason it's plan B is simply because it's exponential. So plan B is going to be our best bet here. Just simply because it's exponential. And we know exponential eventually exceeds everything. So this is going to eventually have a lot of money in it compared to the linear one. So it says, how much more will he save with the plan after 21 years? So here he's looking to figure out how much more money he's going to make over the course of these years. All right, so he's got his savings account. He wants to save money. So which one is he going to have more money in? Or which one's he going to have more money in? Plan B. And then how much money is going to be in there? So that's after 21 years. So what we need to do is we need to take this equation and say y equals 600 times. We can go ahead and simplify that down. 1.1 plus 0.12 is going to be 1.12. And then we can go ahead and raise it to the x power, which here is going to be that 21. So we put the 21 in there for x. So when you get ready to solve this, all you got to do is just substitute it into a calculator, and you'll be able to find that the amount of money he is going to make here is going to be $6,482.31. So it's really easy to come up with that number. All you have to do is substitute it in and work it out through the calculator. All right, real quick, we're going to move on down. We're going to try and get through all these problems in one video. So looking at number 8. Number 8 says compare the rate of change for 3 functions over the interval 1 to 3. Now this one is not linear, so I'm going to have to substitute it in. So if you keep in mind, I'm looking for when x is 1, and I'm looking for when x is 3. So to find that, I substitute into this problem. So I've got y equals x squared plus 6x. And then for those numbers, I'm going to substitute in what my x values are. So let's start with 1. So we've got 1 squared and then 6 times 1. So 1 squared we know is 1, and 6 times 1 is going to be 6. So 1 plus 6 will give us our y value, which is 7. Next, we do the same thing, but we're going to do it with 3's this time. So let's go back and change these to 3's. Let's see if I can do this without. Oh, this is all. Oh, nice. Perfect. That's sometimes difficult to do. All right, going back to this one. So now we're going to substitute in 3's. So 3 squared we know is going to give us 9. And then 6 times 3 is going to be 18. So 18 plus 9. 18 plus 9 is going to give us 27. All right, so once we got our values, we can label x1, y1, x2, y2, and we're going to use the slope formula for this particular problem. So slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So here y2 is going to be 27. Oh, stop writing. Oh, there it goes. 27. And then minus y1 is going to be 7. And then that's all over. X2 is going to be 3 minus 1 for x1. All right, so 27 minus 7, we can go ahead and say that's going to be 20. And then 3 minus 1 is going to give us 2. So for this problem, we find the slope is going to be 20 divided by 2, which is 10. Now, there was a good bit of work for that particular problem, but the rest of them are a piece of cake, I promise. All right, so next we're going to do the table. So for the table, we go from 1 to 3, which means we're going to use 9 and 81. So in this one, we need to subtract 81 from 9. So 81 minus 9, that's going to give us 72. So we'll have 72 on top. And then on the top here, we're going to have 3 minus 1, which is going to give us 2. So 72 divided by 2 will give us an answer of 36. So that one was a lot easier. And then the last one here, function C. Now, hard graph to read. The test will be a lot nicer graph. But here we're looking at 1 to 3. So at 1, we're located right here. And at 3, we're going to be located. Let me look at my paper because I can see it a little bit better on there. We're going to be located right above 5. So at 3, we're going to be right here. So what you have to do here is you have to count up your points. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3. and then we're going to go to the right 1, 2. So this one kind of works out. It's going to be 3, rise 3, run 2. So rise over run, 3 over 2 is going to give us our slope, which is going to be 1.5. All right. So now that we've got all those laid out, we've got all those different forms. If we wanted to, we could write them in form or write them in order from greatest to least, or least to greatest. Greatest to least here would be, looks like it's going to be function B, followed by, that was 10, so that would be function A, and then 1.5 would be function C. So if you wanted to write them in order from greatest to least, that would be, hey, BAC. Spells, I guess, kind of like back. Not really, though. And then if you want to go backward, it would just be right the opposite. So least to greatest would be CAB. Ha! Cab. All right, so you can go either way with those when you're labeling them. So make sure you read the problem tomorrow. It's going to help you on the test. All right, we got 4 more minutes, so let's see if we can do these. So number 9, that's an easy question. Exponential. Functions eventually exceed linear and quadratic. That one's easy. All right, number 10. This is the constructive response question, I do believe. All right, so it says, what value of your car decreases 12% each year? Okay, the value of your car decreases by 12% each year. Percentage tells me I'm going to use that formula we've been talking about. Hey, it does this the model of the function, so here's the function. So first off, it says, what does 28,000 represent? So this is the starting amount. So starting amount with cars, that would tell me that is the price of the car, and when it's starting, that would be mu. So the price of the car, and that's going to be the price of the car when it's new. So the price of the car, new. All right, what is the factor by which the car depreciates? Hey, we underline that. It's going to be this factor, 12%. So we can write 12% or 0.12. Either one will work here. All right. Now, if you wanted to get into it technically, I guess you would say 1 minus, you would do this 1 minus 0.12, which would technically be 0.88. So that would technically be the correct answer. All right, but for my guys, I'll accept the other answer. If you're watching this in another class, you may want to be cautious there. Ask your teacher on that one. All right, and then you also consider purchasing a car for $35,000. Okay, here's where our formula comes in. So we've got y equals the new cost, which is $35,000. And it's going to depreciate by 18%, so that's minus 0.18. And that's each year. So we can take these two formulas and figure out which one's going to actually be worth more at year 8. So to figure out which one that's going to be, we would substitute in the number 8 to both of these. So when you substitute in 8 for this problem, you should come out with an answer of $10,069.77. For the other one, you should substitute in an 8. And when you solve it, you're going to get an answer of $7,154.49. So it makes more sense that the first car we were talking about in the problem, okay, so first car, is going to be worth more money. Okay, so the first car. All right, we're doing so good. We got, 2 more minutes left? 1 more minute left? We got this. All right, so last question. Which function represents the table? This is such an easy question. Pick a number and substitute. That's all you got to do. Pick a number. It doesn't matter. Now, I would pick a couple different numbers just to make sure. Let's start with, I don't know. We could do any of them. 0. 0 is the easiest one. So if we take 0 and substitute in for x, what's 4 to the 0 power? You got that right. 1. That's not a 1. Let's try the next one. What's 4 times 0? 0. That's not a 0. All right. What's 4 times 0? 0. 0 plus 2. That's not a 2. And then the last one, what's 4 to the 0 power? 1. What's 1 plus 2? Okay, there's the only answer that works. Now, if you do this with the problem and you get a couple different answers that work, I definitely suggest you try every answer possible, just because you may run into an issue where more than one answer works for a specific problem. So just pick another number like 1, 2, or 3, substitute it in, and see what you get. All right, this concludes our review. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Good luck on your test tomorrow.